Okay, hello everyone. Today I am going to be going over the pets of Rappelz, the two pet systems, the classic pet system and the soul pet system. This is going to give y'all a general idea of how pets work. We're not going to be going into complete details of the specifics of every individual pet. I might do that in later videos, but this is to at least give y'all an idea of how the system works. Now, first thing I want to say, y'all can see my screen. Y'all can see that this is actually online. If y'all just Google search Rappelz Wiki, then this will be like the first thing that pops up. It is a great resource. It has a lot of information um, on pets, the classes, the gear, different game mechanics, things like that. I will let y'all know right now that this is old. Some of the information is a little bit dated, but it is a very useful guide to learn the basics and some general information. There is also an official Rappelz Discord server. If y'all just Google search Rappelz Discord, it'll be like the only thing that comes up. And the Rappelz Discord also has some updated guides on different things that the wiki does not have. So those are two very good resources for y'all to have. But we're going to go ahead and get into it. Now, as I have said before in previous videos, Rappelz has the most extensive pet system that any MMO out there has. It is definitely one of the main selling points of the game that sets it apart from all the other MMOs. And it's really cool because every single character, every single class can have a pet. It's not restricted to just like a druid class or like a pet class or anything like that. Everyone can have a pet, and each pet has its own unique place, meaning that every pet has a use. So in the classic pet system, um, it says there's 6 tiers of pets, but there's really 7 tiers of pets. The wiki likes to combine the first 2 tiers into one tier, although they are actually completely different. So there's T1 through T7 pets. The T1 pets are going to be the Pantera, the Poultry, and the Tortoise. These are your beginner pets. They are the weakest pets in the game, up through T7 pets, which are the strongest pets in the game. Now, all of the pets in your classic pet system have basically predefined stats and predefined skills at every level. That means that every single Pantera that exists is going to have access to the same skills and will unlock those skills at the same level and will unlock the same passive stats at every level. Now, in one of my previous playthroughs for Training Island, I told y'all how there's experience and how there's job points. Experience is how you level up. Job points is how you basically buy your skills. Pets work a little bit different because instead of getting job points every time that you kill a monster, like you do on your main character, that you then save up a certain amount and then can purchase your skills with, all pets get 1 job point every single time they level up, and for the most part, your active abilities and your passive abilities cost 1 job point each in order to be able to buy the skill. There will be some times where they'll cost 2 job points each for certain skills, but for the most part, every level you get 1 job point and you can buy a skill. Your skills will unlock at certain levels, so like you'll start out, and I think at like level 5 is when they get their first active attack, and then so on and so forth. Every like 5 to 10 levels, they unlock like a new ability. And we will go into pet abilities in another video. That's not going to be for here, but just to give you a basic idea of how it works. So you have your Pantera, your Poultry, and your Tortoise are going to be your starter pets. Now, in order to get a pet, you basically have to have this thing. It is the pet card, and they come empty. And then you have to use an ability called the taming ability. You basically go out into the world and you find a mob of that pet type. So if you wanted a tortoise, you'd have to go find a tortoise out in the wild. If you wanted a poultry, you'd have to go find a poultry out in the wild. If you wanted a pantera, go find a pantera out in the wild. And then you use the taming skill on it that you purchase from your own character skill points. And then it casts for a little bit. Once it's done casting, you kill the monster, and then either it succeeds or it fails. If it fails, you lose the card, you do not get it back, it's just gone, and then you have to go get another empty card and try again. And if it is successful, then you get the card back, and it is a tamed card. The creature will start out at level 1. You put it in your creature formation, and you level it up. There is also a thing with pet staging, where basically you can combine two um, pets of like the same. So let's say that you had a tortoise that you just tamed. You could tame a second tortoise, you can combine both tortoises, and then you get a stage 1 tortoise. You can go all the way from stage 1 to stage 5. So 2 stage 0s make a stage 1, 2 stage 1s makes a stage 2, up through stage 5. Staged pets have increased passive stats, have higher amounts of JP to start with, and unlock certain abilities that they can only get when they're staged. So they're all around stronger. Again, another video I will go into staging pets, but that's just a thing to kind of keep in your mind. Anyways, so this video is actually about the classic pet system. So you start out with your 3 beginner pets. So like the Pantera is known. So basically at level 45, I believe, you unlock an ability called Unity. When it's active, it increases your pet stats and your stats. Um, Pantera is going to give you extra physical attack damage, so they're better on characters that need physical attack. Poultry is better for crit rate and crit power, so if you're playing a character that needs critical, then Poultry is your first choice, and then Tortoise is known for defense, so if you're playing a tank, or if you're playing a really squishy character that needs a tank, Tortoise is what you're going to go for. Now, these are just your beginner pets. You get them on Training Island, and you're not going to stick with them too long because they get outclassed by all of the other pets. You have your Tier 2 pets, which are going to be the direct, better version of the Tier 1 pets. You have a Blue Pixie, which is meant for healing. Um, you have the Red Pixie, which is going to be your main magic damage. Yeti is going to be tank. Skeleton gives you attack speed. Octopus is like magical debuff. Orc is a good damage dealer. I never really use Lydian. People really only use them as mounts. Basically, certain pets, once you get them a certain level, you can use them as a mount and ride on them for like extra movement speed. It was actually added a little bit later in the game by the time that I was already using higher tier pets for me to care about it too much. Siren has magical buffs. Um, Wolf is also a P attack and evasion and agility, I believe. Your tier 3 pets are going to be Harpy, Hawkman, Nightmare, Salamander, and Unicorn. Harpy is good for ranged and attack speed. Hawkman is going to be the main tank and damage dealer. Nightmare is going to be good for physical attack and physical attack pierce. Salamander is kind of like a physical attack and magical attack combination, and Unicorn is good for healing, good for healers. Your tier 4 pets are going to be the Abomination. This is technically a special creature. You have your Angel, Null, Ice Maiden, Joker, Kintaros, and Naga. So the Angel is kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none. It can tank, it can deal magic damage, and it can heal. Pretty nice, but it's not going to have the best of any of it. Nulls are primarily for damage. The Ice Maiden you can actually only get by doing a quest, and you get one of them. You cannot tame them in the wild, and they're good for magical damage. Jokers are kind of special. Um, Essentially, if you try to stage a pet and it fails, there's a small chance you can get a Joker instead of just losing the extra pet card. And the Joker, once it's leveled up, gets an ability that helps increase your staging chances. So if you're trying to go from like stage 4 to stage 5, where you have a really low chance of that happening, you throw in a Joker, and it improves the chance of the stage going through. But they don't have any attacks, they don't have any unities, they don't have really anything else. They're really just meant to help for staging. Kenta is good at physical attack, a little bit of a defense, not much, and Naga is going to be ranged attack. Your next pets, the T5 pets, Cerberus, high damage, Genie, damage and defense, physical, Ifrit is going to be magic, and Stone Golem is going to be tank and healing. And then you have the T6 pets. Now, fun fact, there used to only be two T6 pets, the White Dragon and the Mystic Koala. The White Dragon, for the longest time, was the definitive best pet in the game, where if you had it, you won the game. They were expensive, so expensive, no one could really afford to buy them, And as you go up in pet rarity, it has even worse tame rates. So these back in the day were like 0.0001% chance tame rate, like something really stupid low. So like almost no one had them. But yeah, they give you physical defense and magical attack, high magical attack with magic AoEs, and they can be ridden as a mount. The other one was the Mystic Koala, which back in the day, the only way to get them was by going into a special dungeon called the Ursa Caverns, killing monsters to get points, and within a time limit, and then basically saving up your points to purchase it pre-tamed at level 1 from a special vendor in the game, an NPC in the game that would sell it to you for a bunch of points. So you would have to spend a lot of time in the Ursa Caverns killing all these different monsters trying to save up points for it. And the Mystic Koala is mostly a tank, but it's also special because it would help increase your luck, which increases your drop rate in the game, get you better items, get you rarer items, get you more items when you kill monsters. The Snowman is effectively the Mystic Koala. It's also a tank and also helps you increase your luck. Over time, they've added all of these extra ones into the game. I haven't really used most of these. I know the Death Tyrant is really popular. It was actually the third um, of the unique special added into the game, and it gives high attack damage, but it also has a special ability where it gives you a buff where it can increase all of the level of all your skills by 1, so people love to have this on their uh, in their formation so they can summon it and then level up all of their abilities by 1 for like 30 minutes or however long it works for, especially when you're out taming it. It helps your taming level. The Drillbot was pretty special because it had different forms. Like it had a defense form, it had like a crit form, it has like an extra attack damage or attack speed form, and that made it a pretty popular choice there for a while. Baphomet does a lot of magic damage. The Blight Ogre, I believe, is tanky. Undine is tanky Healy. Then you get to the tier 7 pets, which you have the Death Gladiator, is one of the highest physical attack damage in the game. And then after a while, they added, trying to get to it here, the Project 7 pets. These fall into the classic pet system, and I'll explain more about them in a little bit. You have the Forest Pixie, which is a tier 2, which deals magic damage. Um, you have the Wind Pixie and Ethereal Pixie, which are the tier 6. Wind Pixie deals a lot of physical damage. Ethereal Pixie is magic damage and healing. Crystal Spider is going to be tier 4. It's going to be magical like buffs, debuffs. Crystal Golem, which is the best tank in the game at the moment. Also special, Bloodthirsty Slaughter, high attack damage, and Grandmaster Hector, which deals a combination of magic and physical damage, and is considered to be the best pet in the game because it has the highest single damage ability nukes in the game. So same tier as the Death Gladiator. So that is the basic system for pets and Rappelz. As you go up in levels, they each tend to get better. They do slightly different things. They specialize between their unities, which are one of the more important parts, and they also have the ability to be put on your belt. A belt is basically equipment. You can get up to 8 slots on it, and if you level up a pet enough, then you are able to buy a passive ability that will increase certain stats when you equip it on your belt. So a lot of these pets, even if people don't want to use them as their main pet summon in game, will still want them so that they can be put on their belt to increase their stats. And there are other pages and stuff that will tell you like what stats you'll get for each one. Now you have the soul pet system. Essentially, as they kept making more and more pets for the game. Whenever they would make newer pets, they would tend to be higher level pets. You can see there's more of some of the higher tiers than there are of a couple of the lower tiers. And those pets would be considered the best pet in game. When the Death Tyrant came out, that was like the pet to have. You know, no one wanted the White Dragon or the Koala anymore. Everyone wanted the Death Tyrant. Same thing with the Drillbot. Everyone had to have a Drillbot. Um, it started to devalue the value of all of the other pets a little bit over time. And they were adding pets to the game very slowly. So for years, it would be the same pets. So what they did is they created a new system called the Soul Pet system. All of the pets in the game, well, all of the monsters in the game that you could not tame were going to become tameable in the same fashion of the different tiers. And basically, the higher the tier, the better the pet would be. Some pets could be tamed in multiple tiers, like from the tier 1, or it could also be tamed in tier 3. The tier 1 would tame more often than the tier 3, but the tier 3 would be stronger. Um, and the way that they did it is that they did it by job and they did it by family. So um, you have like the spirits, undeads, dragons, the demons, humans, mechas, beasts, and ains. And then if you got one of these, then there would be like a special skill that only the beast could learn, only the ain could learn, only the demons and humans could learn, etc. But they also did it by job. Healing, ranged magical, ranged physical attack, melee physical attack, and basically your tanks. So skills that only healers could get, skills that only ranged magic could get, skills that only ranged physical could get, and so on. And when you tame a card, you have the basic, the rare, special, unique, and you have the epic. When you tame one of these, it is randomly assigned one of these jobs, which means if you tame one monster, it might be healing. You tame the exact same monster, it might be a tank. It is randomized what it gets, regardless of what family it belongs to. Now, once you get your tank or your healer, whatever it is, and you start to level it up, you're able to buy its skills. Now, unlike in the classic pet system where you can see what the skills are, you can read you can read all the information about them and make an informed decision. All of the skills show up as a question mark. When you buy that skill level 1, it then determines what skill you're going to get. And for each skill slot, skill is like 1, 2, 3, and so on, it is randomized between like a pool of available skills that it can get. Um, so each soul pet is supposed to be different from the next. There's supposed to be variation. Now, let's say that you want a specific soul pet. You know that it has to be a beast, you know that it has to be a tank, and you already know all of the available skills it can get at each skill slot, and you know exactly what skill you want for it to be. There are items in the game that allow you to basically unskill your pet and rebuy those skills so they can be re-randomized. There's also an item where it'll allow you to choose however many of them you want. So let's say that you got one of the 5 skills you wanted. You can keep that one skill, re-roll the rest, and until you make it your perfect pet that you want. And it's a pretty cool system, and when the Soul Pet's released, they made all of the other pets on this page effectively be worthless. When Soul Pets came out, everyone had to have Soul Pets, and Soul Pets can also be staged like the other pets as well. Um, but instead of having to let's say you have a Finidman, instead of having to have 2 Finidmen, if your Finidman is going to be rare, you just had to have like another rare soul pet to use as the food to stage it from S0 to S1 all the way to stage 5. Now, after a while, I mean, you can see they made a lot. There's actually multiple guides online to all the soul pets, how their skills work, all the different kinds of special abilities and passives and stuff that they get based on their race, based on their class. But they also eventually made all of the basically boss monsters, including the dungeon bosses, tameable as well. So that you could now go in and you could have any dungeon boss that you wanted as well. And some of them were available in lower tiers, some of them higher tiers that would be harder to tame. And these also had to fall within those 5 different jobs that you saw up here: the healer, the tank, the damage dealer, the magic, the ranged, all that fun stuff. So these started to be the strongest for a while until they added in the Project 7 pets that we went over just a minute ago. Now, the best pet in the game is considered to be Grandmaster Hector. It has some of the highest damage in the game, Crystal Golem is considered to be the definitive best tank pet. It just has amazing abilities and stats. The Ethereal Pixie, if you are playing a magic-based class, is the best. And Wind Pixie, if you're playing physical-based class. And if you're playing a pet class like I play Master Breeder, the technically one of the best combinations is Ethereal Pixie and Crystal Golem. Now, arguably, Grandmaster Hector replacing Ethereal Pixie and then still having Crystal Golem is considered to be the best, but it's also so expensive in game that it's more reasonable to do Ethereal Pixie, and Ethereal Pixie does stack with Crystal Golem a little bit better than Grandmaster Hector does. Ethereal Pixie is also nice because it has heals, and Grandmaster Hector doesn't. So that's just kind of the recommended. But that having been said, every single pet in the game does have a use. Just because these are considered to be the meta, just because these are considered to be the best picks, does not mean that any of the other pets from either the soul pet system or the traditional pet system are worthless. Because they each have their own uses, and again, they increase different stats when put on your belt, even if you're not going to have them summoned as your main pet. And while you're working your way up, especially if you're a new player from the early stuff, you're not expected to be able to get any of this stuff early on in the game. Maybe the Forest Pixie, it's a T2 pet along with these pets. But aside from that, being able to play at your own pace, start out with this stuff, and kind of just move up the chain until you can get higher level. Once you're higher level, it'll be more important to have this stuff, but lower level, it's not really going to affect you as much. You'll be able to play with your friends or solo the early to mid game well enough without needing to worry about trying to get all this money in game and spend it to try and get the best of the best. Um, so yeah, that is just a basic overview of the classic pet system and the soul pet system in Rappelz. There are a ton of pets that you'll be able to choose from that will do all kinds of different things for you. And I would mention the taming rates, but honestly, they've changed. They have gotten a lot worse. Taming is, there is a lot of RNG. There's a lot of gambling in this game, basically. When you try to tame anything, it could fail. When you try to stage anything, it could fail. When you want to go enchant your armor and make it better, it could fail. Um, there is on the official Discord for Rappelz. If you search it, go on there. Has a lot of useful information and guides. There's also a bot spam server, and the bot has useful commands that can show you like the tame rates of stuff, that can show you the staging rates, that can show you the enchantment rates and things like that. It is a very useful tool to have at your disposal. So I highly recommend that you download Discord if you don't already have it. Just Google Rappelz official Discord. There's only one active Discord now for it, and you'll see multiple links for it, so it'll take you to the correct one, um, and it will go over all of that. But taming rates are not that great, but there are ways to be able to increase your taming chances. If you are a pet class, you will get higher taming levels than all of the non-pet classes, obviously. There are armors and gears that you can equip that will increase your taming level. There's also skill cards you can equip that will increase your taming chances. There's extra decorative gear and emblems and things like that that will increase your taming chances. So if you play a pet class and you actually go out of your way and you get all this stuff to increase your taming levels, then you can actually get some pretty good taming chances. Even for some of the more rare pets, even some of the higher level pets, things like that. Other than that, if you don't play a pet class, you can still get some of it for your class to help you out. But there's a lot of ways in game to be able to make money. Um, just farming in areas, so you can always just buy one off of someone else who's already tamed them. A lot of people will tame, especially the more in-demand pets or the really good belt pets, and sell them at level 1 for, relatively cheap, just depending on what you want. Anyways, that is it for this video. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to ask them in the comments. Anything you have to say, just drop a comment, and I will respond to it when I can. All my videos being uploaded on Twitch will also be uploaded on YouTube where they will stay a lot longer than the basic like 40 days that Twitch allows me to keep for my streaming. The link to my YouTube is in my about, which here if I do Twitch TV, pause that. Do channel. Okay. Well, weird. But yeah, here's my YouTube link, and there we go. I hope that this helped, and I will be making more instructional videos for Rappelz over time that just kind of gives explanations to different things. Hopefully to give everyone just a basic idea of what they're getting themselves into if they decide to play this awesome game.